Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
There's nothing original here.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake. When she was younger.
Hi, Nanny. I got an English award.
100% a bully brat.
I think when I was 30, if I thought about 50, I thought that is an awful long way away. And I don't really need to think about it. And then I blinked and I'm 50. That's crazy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
She's absolutely ruthless.
This is Meghan's first trip to the snow. Dad took her up to Big Bear.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
That was her goal. Hashtag goal, to marry Prince Harry.
She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Tom Bower just dropped a bombshell that has Meghan Markle's legal team working overtime.
No, I choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery and they want to hide their secrets. And I just love digging away to find out what they don't want to.
The royal biographer, known for his ruthless investigations, has publicly questioned whether the Duchess of Sussex has been lying about her age for over 2 decades.
Today felt like the perfect day to address a theory that many people out there have been speculating on, that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
And the evidence he's compiled. Music, it's devastating. We're talking magazine archives, university records, family testimonies, and a pattern of deception so elaborate it makes Hollywood look amateur.
Is Megsy really lying about her age? Now, when you Google her, it says that she was born on the 4th of August 1981. And with today being her birthday, as of me recording this video, it's saying that she's 44 years old.
But here's what makes this different from every other Meghan scandal. This time, there are documents, official documents, documents that don't lie. And Meghan, she's reportedly absolutely furious.
Yeah, she had a very clear idea of where she wanted her path to take her.
Dive into the age controversy. You need to understand who Tom Bower is. This isn't some tabloid journalist looking for clicks. Tom Bower is one of Britain's most respected investigative biographers. He's written exposés on Robert Maxwell, Mohammed Al-Fayed, Simon Cowell, and Prince Charles.
The metadata of the picture says that it was taken on May 8th, 2019. And he was born on May 6th, 2019. Can somebody please explain that to us?
His books are meticulously researched. He spends years interviewing hundreds of sources. He fact-checks everything. And in 2022, he published Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. The book was brutal. It painted Meghan as calculating, manipulative, and willing to do whatever it took to climb the social ladder.
Meghan is a consummate survival actress. And you raise this extraordinary beginning of the year when she carved 2025 in the sand. And, you know, it's a very, very interesting image that. It came out on New Year's Day this year because the previous weeks had been absolutely turgid and torrid for her. She had been dubbed Duchess Difficult again. There had been allegations of bullying.
Tyrant in high heels.
One chapter caught particular attention. The chapter about Meghan's early life, her Hollywood years, her timeline. And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her stuff.
And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her stuff. We've caught her in so many lies. Her own sister has come forward, her family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling.
Because according to Bauer's research, the math doesn't add up. Meghan claims she was born August 4th, 1981. That would make her 44 years old today.
August 4th, 40 years ago, Meghan was born, and she was born as a C-section, so she was put in my arm.
But Bauer uncovered evidence suggesting she could be anywhere from 48 to 52 years old. That's not a rounding error. That's a complete biographical fabrication. And when Bauer went public with these findings, Meghan's team went into panic mode.
And that's the thing about Meghan. She's a very, very deceitful person.
Let's start with the smoking gun. March 1997, 17 magazine, page 90. There's a feature article that lists Meghan Markle as 21 years old. Now, if Meghan was really born in 1981, like she claims, she would have been 15 or 16 in March 1997, not 21. That's a 6-year discrepancy.
What the hell is going on with this woman? Is she adopted or is she just a natural? I mean, is she such a liar she can't even understand that we can all see her?
Tom Bauer didn't just find this article and run with it. He verified it. He went to physical archives. He confirmed the publication date. He made sure it was authentic, and it is. Music. So, either 17 magazine made a massive mistake about a relatively unknown person's age, or someone's been lying for a very long time. But wait, it gets worse.
You're wondering, why does her age matter at all? Because her age would also have an impact on her ability to have children. Because if Meghan Markle is 4 years older than what we have been led to believe, it makes it even more difficult to believe that she was able to get pregnant so quickly. Never mind the hysterectomy stories that her family have told. But that would make it more difficult because that would make Meghan Markle near 50.
Bauer also uncovered that Meghan's IMDb page originally listed her birth year as 1977, not 1981. Why would her professional acting profile have a different birth year than her official biography?
I believe she had a clear motive for writing family off because it would seemingly justify and perhaps delay the revelation of all of the lies that she had told the royal family.
Because in Hollywood, your age determines which roles you can audition for. And Meghan needed to be younger to compete. So she changed it music quietly, hoping nobody would notice. But Tom Bauer noticed, and he has the screenshots to prove it.
They've stupidly put out so many dumb lies, the car chase, etc., that now nobody believes anything they say. And that's scary and dangerous because it sometimes puts us off in directions that we need to be better about. But man, the more and more I look at and research this stuff, I'm not obsessed with these two. I'm looking at them with a very clear eye.
Northwestern University, Meghan's alma mater. According to official records, she graduated in 2003 with a degree in theater and international studies. At age 22, perfect timeline, right?
I just made a little mark on my board and said, oh, there's another lie, click.
Except there's a problem. Tom Bauer, music, tracked down Meghan's classmates. He looked at alumni directories. He examined group photos from her university days. Music, and here's what he found. Most of Meghan's classmates from that era are now in their early to mid-50s. Not their early 40s, their 50s.
So what is going on here? Why the secrecy around this woman's birth certificate? Why the secrecy? Why the mistakes in age that are so blatant for others? And you know what? This is like her education in university, that she claims that she double major in international relations and theater when Northwestern has never given a major in international relations.
There's a famous photo from Northwestern's salsa club. Meghan is in the back row, smiling with about a dozen other students. Bauer contacted several people in that photo, and when he asked them when they were born, they all said the same thing, early 1970s. So, either Meghan was a 20-year-old hanging out exclusively with people 10 years older than her, or she was actually their age and has been lying ever since. One of her former classmates, who spoke to Bauer on condition of anonymity, music, said, "We all knew Meghan was older than she claimed. It was kind of an open secret, but nobody really cared at the time, But they care now because if Meghan lied about her age in college, what else did she lie about?
We can't ignore them if they keep popping up doing stuff like this. That's the thing. We're kind of in a mutually abusive, toxic relationship, aren't we? The media and Harry and Meghan, because they keep doing stuff wanting attention. Then they get quite adverse reaction most of the time. Then they react really badly to the reaction. And so it goes on.
Well, what it really boils down to is the threat they offer. If the threat was punctured, which I hope my book will do.
Here's where it gets really strange. Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, has done dozens of interviews since she married Harry. He's talked about everything: her childhood, her personality, her treatment of the family. But when asked directly about Meghan's birth year, he goes quiet.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
Tom Bauer personally interviewed Thomas Markle for his book. And when he asked, "What year was Meghan born?" Thomas hesitated. Then he said something bizarre. "You music should check the records yourself. Not 1981, not August 4th, 1981. Just check the records."
Well, that's her first wedding in Jamaica. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'd like to have that experience with my granddaughter.
Why would a father need to think about when his daughter was born? Unless the official story isn't true. Bauer also interviewed Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister. Samantha was born in 1964. According to Meghan, there's a 17-year age gap between them. But Samantha told Bauer, "The gap is much smaller than Meghan claims. We were closer in age."
Before she met Harry, you had no doubt she was your sister.
My little sister, though.
If Meghan was born in 1981, the gap is 17 years. Samantha would have been a teenager when Meghan was born. But if Meghan was born in 1973 or 1975, that gap shrinks to 9 to 11 years. Suddenly, they're much closer in age, and that matches music. What Samantha remembers, having a younger sister close enough in age to actually play with.
She was my little sis.
I would have loved to have had siblings. That's why I'm so excited to be pregnant, so that Archie has someone.
Let's talk about Meghan's acting career. If she was really born in 1981, she would have been 25 years old when she was holding briefcases on Deal or No Deal in 2006. That's music young. That makes sense for that type of work. But Tom Bauer dug into Meghan's early career. And what he found was a pattern of struggle that doesn't match a 20-some actress.
So I have to ask, is this woman crazy? Is she that much of a liar? Or is there something deeper? Because just to give you another example, she claims that she was 13 years of age when she started to work for Humphrey Yogurt, in spite of the fact that Humphrey Yogurt has said that they have never employed anybody at age 13. Number two, she claims that when she started working at Humphrey Yogurt, she ran into Yasmin Bleeth, and that she congratulated Yasmin Bleeth for her deodorant commercial. Yasmin Bleeth didn't do that deodorant commercial until 1997.
Early 2000s, Meghan was auditioning for everything. Music, bit parts, background roles, anything she could get. She landed small roles in shows that have since been forgotten. Music, she did commercial work. She scraped by. That's not unusual for actresses. But here's the thing. Casting, music directors have age cutoffs. If you're over 30 and unknown, you're considered too old for any roles. You get pushed into mom or older sister categories.
Are you telling me that that commercial, which was so pivotal for Meghan Markle, she didn't even bother to watch so she can recount the story and say when I was 12 rather than when I was 11? Because the commercial is out in the public domain, and I will leave the link for you guys to go watch it. It was done when she was 12 years of age. So there is something that is not connecting.
Meghan's career trajectory looks exactly like someone who was aging out of the system and desperately trying to stay relevant. She didn't land Suits until 2011. If she was 30, she was already on the older side for that role. But if she was actually 36, she should have been too old for Rachel Zane entirely. Music, unless she lied, which according to Bauer's research, she did.
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
Meghan's career trajectory looks exactly like someone who was aging out of the system and desperately trying to stay relevant. She didn't land Suits until 2011. If she was 30, she was already on the older side for that role. But if she was actually 36, she should have been too old for Rachel Zane entirely. Music, Unless she lied, which according to Bauer's research, she did.
Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both Tom.
Tom Bauer investigated this extensively, and what he found was shocking. This type of change is extremely rare for royal birth certificates. In fact, Music Palace insiders told Bauer they couldn't remember it ever happening before. So why did Meghan do it? Bauer's theory: she's terrified of paper trails. If her legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle, is on official documents, those documents can be cross-referenced, investigated, compared to other records: music, school transcripts, previous marriages, passport applications. And if someone starts digging through Rachel Meghan Markle's past, they might find birth years that don't match up.
He owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Oh, Archie doing a deep dive between the knees. Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities. And we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior.
So she scrubbed her name, made herself harder to trace. And according to Bauer, that's not the action of someone with nothing to hide. So how did Meghan react when Tom Bauer's book came out? According to sources close to the situation, she was absolutely livid.
I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony. I love to make fun of her because she continues to give me so much material.
Her lawyers immediately sent legal threats to the publisher. They demanded retractions. They called the age claims baseless, music, and defamatory. But here's the problem. Bauer had receipts, magazine archives, university records, witness testimonies. Meghan couldn't just make this go away with legal threats. So, she did what she always does. She went silent. No public statements, no birth certificate released, no press conference to clear things up. Just.
Professionally, they've gone down dramatically, and I predicted it in the book, but even I would not have thought it'd be that accelerated. I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's.
And that silence, according to Bauer, speaks volumes. If your timeline was clean, you'd release the evidence. You'd prove everyone wrong. You'd end the speculation once and for all. But Meghan won't. And according to sources who spoke to Bauer, it's because she can't. The truth, whatever it is, doesn't match the official story.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
And now she's trapped because the more she denies it, the more suspicious it looks. Here's where things get legally complicated. If Meghan lied about her age on official documents, marriage certificates, legal contracts, royal records, that's fraud. Music and fraud, according to British law, can be grounds for annulment.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Tom Bower spoke to several legal experts for his book, and they all said the same thing. If Meghan provided false information on her marriage documents, the marriage could potentially be invalidated. That doesn't mean it will be, but it means it could be. And that's a massive problem for Meghan because if the marriage is annulled, the children's titles become questionable. Music, the line of succession becomes complicated. The entire legal framework collapses.
So many surprises, by the way, tucked away in your book. Everybody is already buzzing because you reveal that Simon is not a fan of Jennifer Lopez. I was not aware of this. You say he can't stand her. So set the record straight for us, Tom. What's his beef with J-Lo?
Well, he just found her just too vain and too self-interested, which seems like he met his own match. But in the end, Simon doesn't really like many celebrities. I noticed when I went with him to the Oprah Winfrey Show and many other places around Hollywood and elsewhere, he's a rather shy guy. He's always afraid of being associated with people who are bigger than him or who might put him in the shade. But in the end, he's pretty critical of people. He doesn't like Elton John. He doesn't like many of the people who are really famous in the music business. You know, he's critical.
Bower also pointed out that if Meghan lied to Netflix, Spotify, or any other business partners about basic biographical facts, those contracts could be voided. She could be sued. She could lose everything. And according to Bower, that's exactly why she's so desperate to keep this music quiet, because it's not just embarrassing, it's potentially financially devastating.
When she was 12 years of age. So there is something that is not connecting. There is something that is not right. And I haven't been able to get a hold of a birth certificate, of a copy of her birth certificate. So if any of you can get it for me, please do so. So I started getting some emails from some of the subscribers, and they said, what if Meghan Markle was adopted? What if there more to her birth than just her age? Could it be that she doesn't know her own age because she's been lied to by her father and mother? Could it be that's why Doria doesn't have a bond with Meghan Markle? Because what mother leaves her daughter when she's 3 or 4 years? Okay, maybe she went to jail. Those are the rumors.
Now, we get to the most explosive part of Bower's investigation. There have been persistent rumors for years that Meghan had an older daughter from a previous relationship, a daughter who would now be in her 30s. Bower didn't confirm this in his book, but he also didn't deny it. What he did say was this: there are gaps in Meghan's timeline that have never been adequately explained. If Meghan was born in 1973 or 1975 instead of 1981, those gaps start to make sense. She would have been in her early 20s in the mid-1990s, old enough to have had a child, old enough to have given that child up for adoption or to family members. Is there proof? Not definitive proof, but there are whispers, rumors, people who claim to know the truth, but won't go on record.
And there are files about Doria Ragland. We know that in 1996, she was sued for eviction to get evicted from the place where she was living. And there's also a criminal file that nobody can access. So what is really the reality? Because how can nobody correct this woman? She went on Southwest and Texas on that stage with Katie Couric, and Katie Couric asked her, can you please tell us the story when you were 11 years old? I mean, everybody has seen that commercial. It clearly starts with, when I'm Meghan Markle, I'm 12 years old. So what is going on here? Why the secrecy around this woman's birth certificate?
And Bower's book has reignited all of those questions, because if she lied about her age, what else is she hiding? At the end of his book, Tom Bower doesn't explicitly state Meghan's real age. Instead, he lays out all the evidence and lets readers decide for themselves. But his conclusion is clear. Meghan Markle has been dishonest about fundamental aspects of her biography.
At that moment last year, she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem, financially and professionally. And I think that Harry has a problem because he's lost his charity centre Bailey in Africa. He's better up, and all these commercial deals are declining. I think that his reputation is somewhat toxic, and I think Invictus is his only lifeline, and there'll be problems with that too.
I mean, we've seen people leaving Invictus recently. I think you mentioned the Disney special. Does the Disney special at all?
It's about her education, her family, her previous relationships, her motivations for marrying Harry. Meghan, in Bauer's assessment, is a woman who has carefully constructed a public persona that bears little resemblance to reality. She's not the victim she claims to be. She's not the humanitarian she portrays herself as. She's not even the age she says she is. She's an actress, and her greatest role has been playing Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. But the performance is crumbling, the cracks music are showing, and thanks to investigators like Tom Bauer, the truth is finally coming to light.
Professionally, they've gone down dramatically, and I predicted it in the book, but even I would not have thought it'd be that accelerated. I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from.
So, is Meghan really 44 or 48? 50? Maybe even 52? Tom Bauer has shown us the evidence doesn't match the story. And until Meghan releases her actual birth certificate, the questions won't stop. The truth always surfaces. Always. If you want more royal investigations like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just getting started.